right, traders, welcome to the SPACs attack, guys. I'm super excited for another show. Been seeing the watch list turn green, so definitely excited to get towards the SPACs. Let's bring on my man, the brains to the show, Chris Katje.
What's going on, Mitch?
I
Happy
see that
Friday.
shirt, man. You
You
looking
see this
good.
shirt? The SPACs attack, baby.
Hey, the
Always
SPACs is
attacking.
attacking, man. Hey, one thing I definitely noticed is that we got the switch. Remember how the watch list was all red yesterday? You know one thing you mentioned yesterday? Go shopping, baby. Look for those SPACs, baby, and look. Hey, look at the watch list. You're seeing multiple stocks up about 4%, and really, I can tell you guys at least like 60-70% of my watch list has now turned green, and so definitely keeping an eye out on some of these movers. I know we got so much to talk about. Headlines, the Hall of Fame today. So, guys, if you guys are interested in some of these management plays, and that's kind of your focus, this is the show for you guys. We wanted to do the SPAC Hall of Fame today, so definitely smash the like if you like the topic for today. Hit the subscribe, hit the share, let everyone know the SPAC Hall of Fame will be on in about 15 minutes. So let's get right into the headlines and take us back.
All right, guys. Yeah, so let's dive into headlines this Friday. So up first, we have BFLY, Butterfly Network, one we've talked about a lot, recently completed that merger. They did ring the opening bell this morning. I was expecting to see a little bit of a pop off of that. Looks like we're only up about 1% here. But again, this is one that is owned by Bill Gates. Cathie Wood has been adding to the ARC ETFs. It is the portable ultrasound company. So keep an eye out on this one if it is not already on your radar. We have FSR. This is Fisker. So Fisker had Henrik Fisker out with a tweet yesterday showing the company now has over 12,000 reservations. So that tweet mentions that the figure comes without China and limited marketing. And then the tweet further goes to say that marketing will start by the end of the year. So there you have, the CEO sharing the reservation number and also saying two potential catalysts with China and with a marketing plan put in place. So, that's why I follow Henrik Fisker on Twitter. I actually have an article out today on some electric vehicle people you should follow on Twitter. And he's one of them because I own shares of Fisker and I want to know what's going on. He is very vocal on there of sharing details on the company. We have FRX. This is Forest Road Acquisition. I call it the Shaq SPAC. It has three former Disney executives. They announced a merger for Beachbody and MyX Fitness. This was one I talked about on the show last week, said I own shares of FRX and that I love the long-term play here with that possible Peloton rival in MyX Fitness, the huge membership base built in with Beachbody, that at-home fitness play. And here you have shares of FRX taking off yesterday, up double digits, after hours up double digits. We're up today. Looks like some trading groups are starting to get a hold of this play, seeing the long-term potential. So remember, I told you last week on the show, big fan of FRX going forward here. So keep an eye out on this one. And then we have DMYD. So a DMY technology SPAC merging with Genius Sports. So we've talked about this one for a while too. I saw a note out that Genius Sports could be negotiating with the NFL for a sports data deal. So this, of course, would be a big win and a major catalyst. Sport Radar, their rival, had a 2-year deal that began in 2019. So that one is coming up for renewal. Not sure if the NFL will look to add both Genius Sports and Sport Radar, or if they go after for an exclusive deal, which would be a major event for Genius Sports going forward. Our big winner yesterday was Kappa, CAPA, so up 116%. They, of course, announced that deal with Quantum Sci, backed by ARC Funds. Big winner on the day. And then our other announced deal, SPTW, that satellite play, Black Sky, was up 28%. So, kind of breaking that trend we had seen recently of these SPACs trading down after the deal announcement. So 2 winners yesterday to definitely keep an eye on if we get any dips and buying opportunities. GSAH was a big winner yesterday, up 12%. This is the Goldman Sachs SPAC. No news out, no major rumors, just lots of volume in both the shares and the calls. We're up to 1450. People think a deal is getting close. I do own shares of GSAH, and I know that this was one that Mitch talked about on our SPACs under 11 show. So hopefully some of you were able to snag that one under $11, going forward. We have ALTU, rumor with Arion, that supersonic company. Shares were up 13% yesterday. That's a Bloomberg rumor. Still have not gotten the deal announcement, which a lot of these Bloomberg rumors we have seen be, fairly shortly after now. So keep an eye out on ALTU, as next week we could see a deal. We have Clover, CLOV, one of the most talked about former SPACs out there. They announced they will report full fiscal year earnings on March 1st. So this is one that's been beaten down. It's been attacked by some short reports. I'm looking forward to seeing that earnings report, because I think maybe that could, create some opportunity for the company to really explain some of their deals, some of their partners, and we can see if that growth really is there. So, keep an eye out on that earnings date being a possible catalyst to maybe lift these shares back up. We have RMO, Romeo Power, out today talking about some new battery technology. So shares were up, 7% this morning, looks like about 3% now. This is what we talked about, dip buying opportunity, and we'll get to that on the watch list, because I definitely bought shares of RMO yesterday.
You're killing me. Hold on, Chris. You're killing me. I was literally staring at it this morning, and I'm like, man, 1420s, 1430s. Then I saw it go to $15. I was like, God dang it.
I was going to wait till our middle segment, but I had that battery news, and so I bought in yesterday at 1455. I kept looking for, the dip. How low are we going to get? And, I took a swing there. So we'll look at that chart in a minute here, Mitch. And then some new SPACs that were filed. So Supernova out with their third SPAC filing, which could be a sign that we're getting close on that first one, SPNV. I know that's a favorite of yours, Mitch, as well. And then Northern Genesis out with a third SPAC. So they, of course, did Lion Electric with their first one. And then, which I own shares in. And then they also have NGAB as their second one. So maybe we're getting close to a deal announcement there. And then Trine is out with a second one. Trine, of course, did Desktop Metal, which was, a top performer going into that merger vote before shares kind of tanked. And now we're up again. And then the other announced SPAC I saw last night we have to hit here is FRXB. This is Forest Road Acquisition Corp 2. So we have Shack SPAC 2.0 coming to the market. Once again, Shaquille O'Neal and 3 former Disney executives seeking to raise $300 million. Each unit will include 1/5. That is a slight change, as the first one was 1/3. So it will be traded as FRXB as common stock. Those units will be FRXBU. So we've talked about Shaq, early investor in Google, in Ring, which was acquired by Amazon. He's an investor and board of directors member for Papa John's International. And then those Disney executives, we have Kevin Meyer, the former executive vice president of the Internet Group, part of ESPN.com. He also led that direct-to-consumer strategy that launched Disney Plus. You have Salil Mehta, who worked at Disney from 1994 to 2008. He was part of that ESPN division. And then you have Thomas Staggs. He's the former CFO of Disney from 1998 to 2010. So while he was CFO, Disney did acquisitions of Capital Cities and ABC, Pixar, and Marvel Entertainment. And then he was also the chairman of Walt Disney Parks and Resorts. He was a key to the company opening a theme park in China. So they're targeting, once again, the technology, media, telecom, and consumer sector. I told you guys about that first Shaq SPAC. And again, I love Shaquille O'Neal as a businessman. But what really sets this SPAC apart in my eyes, you have 3 former Disney executives. So, they got that deal done for Beachbody and MyX with the first SPAC. I'm guessing that the second SPAC, they're going to land another good target. So keep an eye out on this one. I'll be letting you know when they go public, because I'll be looking to see what they price at. But I would love to get some units when that one does go public. And then turning to next week, so we have a vote date for SPE on the 25th. With ChargePoint, which I do own shares of SPE, but I also want to highlight we have some earnings coming up from some former SPACs. So we have Hyliion on the 23rd, Velodyne on the 25th, Fisker on the 25th, and DraftKings on the 26th. So, as these SPACs go public, you want to find more information and dive into those financials to see if they're following that growth plan that was laid out in the investor presentation. So I do own shares of HYLN and FSR. I know I'll be tuning into those two, but I'll also be looking at Velodyne and DraftKings as well next week. So that's the calendar. That's what I've got, for headlines. What do you think, Mitch? We got Shaq's back 2.0.
Hey, you know what? Shoot. Oh, and does he score? That's all we're gonna have to find out. Hey, my man shooting some hoops. That's it. He's hanging out, shooting some hoops, and ready to keep going with it. One thing he's noticing is the opportunity is at hand. And when the opportunity is at hand, you got to take advantage, guys. You got to take advantage. And same way we're taking advantage of these SPAC investments. I hope some people are out there making some great wealth. So definitely going to take a look here and see what we got moving, but definitely excited to hear about that third kind of supernova. As you guys know, I've been in SPNV, and actually, one of my friends was trying to convince me to triple down in it. I don't even see it that bad. I'm really trying to see a dip back down in the 11s. If I could get it at 11s, I'll probably double up or triple up on my position. I had a starter for a while, and now that I'm seeing, like Chris mentioning, whenever we see these kind of multiples coming out, maybe that means that they're wrapping up that first one. Because at the end of the day, you got to focus on the next two. So in my eyes, it could be, hey, next couple of weeks and maybe next week or two, we get a close on SPNV. And I'm super excited about that one. That one has a lot of money behind it, and I think a really good board, at least from how I've heard the approach was taken. Definitely a whole bunch of different sides, whether it be the private equity side with BlackRock, or you could look at kind of also he has experience running these companies, right? It's not just a name, not just someone that has billions behind them, but actually experience as CEO, and I'm super excited. All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into our watch list. Let's go ahead and dive right in here. Let's pull. Sometimes left alone in the heat of the night. All right, guys, so I want to get quickly into this watch list. Looking at that Romeo Powers right now, as you guys heard, I mean, yesterday I was really thinking about buying this one, especially after it started dipping towards this 1430. I saw this kind of daily and yearly. This is a weekly, so let's go to our daily here, and let's see how the look was giving me. But I drew this line yesterday, guys, and man, it got close towards that 14. I'm going to keep waiting to see maybe if I can get a dip back down towards that support, but definitely that line is somewhere where I definitely look for entries. So I'm going to keep this one on watch. That's Romeo Powers. Another one that I'm going to keep on watch, guys, and then we'll start going through some of the ones that are actually moving today, is XL. For me, this one's really starting to get that bottoming action on the daily. Look at this kind of bottoming action you got off of this kind of high right here. One thing I would let it do, though, is maybe dip down towards this kind of right here, towards this 1725 area. If I could get it below 18, maybe risk down towards 16. I like the look of this, especially since we've had about, 2 month sideways action here, guys. And so I'm waiting for about a week or two for it to be kind of in this area, and then I would go ahead and kind of load the boat in this XL fleet. It doesn't look like a bad position there. At least you're starting to be able to get that management of risk. One thing I have noticed is that a lot of these high flyers that ripped out have really started going sideways. And when we have that sideways period, what we're doing is just getting consolidation. And we need to see if we can get some volume and catalyst to really start getting these stocks moving. All right, guys, so let's go ahead. The Shaq's back up there about 23%. I mean, Chris, you still in this one?
I am still in FRX. I actually own the units, FRXU. So those units include a third of a warrant. So those warrants are actually up big today, and as are the units. So yeah, up 26% today on those units. I'm actually looking at splitting my units. I'll probably look at selling the warrants off to take some profit, and then I'm going to keep my common shares. At-home fitness, I don't think is going away. Beachbody's got strong brand name recognition, and you pair that with a at-home bike similar to Peloton but priced cheaper. I think that's a winning combination. They also have a sports drink nutrition line that LeBron James and Arnold Schwarzenegger actually founded. So you have them kind of, behind the scenes too to promote some of the brands. And now you got Shaq. What happens when Shaq starts promoting Beachbody, or Shaq starts promoting, MyX Fitness, the next Peloton? Just throwing it out there, guys. I could see some strong growth ahead on this one.
Yeah, so what I mentioned about that one is that I think you're right, at least for competition in that area. But the question is, how much competition is coming in and how fast? So that's what I'd keep an eye out, guys. I know Peloton's going to definitely start taking kind of a hit because these other competitors are really going to step up. I've been seeing another one, I think it's Nortrack, that has
Mitch,
a very similar product.
If you want to pull up NLS Nautilus.
Yes.
So they have some they have Schwinn, they have Nautilus, they have Bowflex, they have some competitors. BZ Pro says that they have earnings out in 3 days. So that could be a good indicator, maybe that earnings report, seeing how they're growing compared to Peloton, who recently reported earnings. So, is there opportunity for the market to expand, or is there opportunity for people to take share away from Peloton, or ultimately both?
Yeah, definitely. I'll keep an eye on these, especially with the new bikes that are coming out. There's going to be competitions for that Peloton bike. I mean, at the end of the day, that's their best product. But one thing I noticed that Peloton did and transitioned to is they transitioned to trying not to be only about the bike, right? And so that's what you got to watch out for all of these, is that at the end of the day, what I noticed is not necessarily only the home fitness aspect. Remember, a lot of what happened was there was this big transition in health where we had a lot more personal trainers, right? And so all these personal trainers are trying to find ways to still get to their customer. And the best way to get towards their customer is probably going to be on-demand methods now. And so followers and subscription models are going to be doing great in this kind of sense of bringing the personal trainer to your TV and then maybe telling you what to do at home versus actually being next to you in the gym. And so this is what I'm watching for in this industry. I know a lot of people that are personal trainers and even have masters in that area. So they're definitely trying to figure out a way to keep this business rolling. All right, guys, let's keep rolling through here. MP, baby, MP. This is the stock that we had on our show, guys. You guys want to know when we had it? All the way back here, guys, on November 16th week, guys. It was down by $16, I remember. And that's when it was on our show. And now it's up there to $46.20. This is, and we talked about it. It was a strictly pure play into the kind of the precious metals, and the thought that Chris kept talking about how maybe China is going to go ahead and hold some of these metals, and you're seeing the demand and also the talk whether it be GM CEO the other day talking about catalytic converters and the materials they need for catalytic converters, or you're seeing it talked about in different EVs. So the precious metals, I think, plays aren't going away. And I think overall metals, I mean, you can look at not just not when you're just not talking about lithium. You could talk about so many elements here that really are starting to take off. I mean, let's look at just like to compare it to like a lithium battery ETF, and look at this ETF, man. Like this year, and since March 20th, we're talking 3-4 times the value. So definitely keep your eyes out on those plays. I think MP is not the only one you're going to see. I think you'll start seeing some different movers in that industry. So definitely keep your eyes out. That's why I'm mentioning it, guys. Keep your eyes out on the industry. All right, guys, another one here. One that I'm expecting for some reason. This chart just looks like it wants to go, but it doesn't go. Quell, guys, Quell. Look at this chart, guys. This weekly. Have you seen a SPAC like this, Chris? There's not many SPACs that I've seen that many weeks just see straight sideways.
Yeah, that's interesting because for a while, this one was rumored with Proterra, an electric bus company. And then what happened was it kind of dipped and sold off. And then people started getting back into this one because, they have a strong management team. So, just because there was that dip there, it didn't mean that this one was going to, underperform long term. This one now is being rumored with some urban air mobility companies, but this one has seen strong support for a while. It's been talked about for a while, on different SPAC groups and different investment groups. It's one I've been looking at. I would have loved to get this one, but below 12, obviously missed the chance probably there. I don't think this one comes back down. And this is one where people have been waiting for a long time. I think when they announce a deal, this one could get some strong support, moving up on a deal announcement.
At least I can tell you that you at least start getting some levels to go off of in this one. When it has so many weeks sideways, at least kind of this 13 really holding strong now on this pullback. So we'll see if it gets back up there to the 14s and 15 area. All right, guys, so let's keep running through here, see what we see on a discount today. All right, so let's go into what actually is in the red and see if we find anything good down there. All right, guys, so I'm seeing that one ACIC. I think that we mentioned a lot of that about that one yesterday, but I'm also seeing this FIII. This is one that I'll take a look at because it's starting to pull back and kind of interesting towards me. A lot of people were watching this one, and when everyone goes away is when I start paying attention, guys. That's what I try to do, guys, is I notice that sometimes retail traders just the hype goes away, and next thing you know, the institutionals and the banks step in and they take that support, and they're not so stressed about kind of waiting in positions. So this one, I see that $11 and $11.50 coming into play. I would let it go through that 11.50 and come closer towards that 11, but definitely start getting interested into this play as it had a lot of kind of resistance and volume profile between 10.50s and 11.50s. So that's kind of the area that I would start trying to maybe get into this one a little bit there, closer towards that $11. All right, let's keep going. Let's go with one more here. Let's do JWS because I know there's been a couple talk. They got a couple more, right? How many they got now? I think Jaws Acquisition has 3, or is it 2?
Yeah, so Barry Sternlicht has filed quite a few SPACs now.
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah, he's got a lot coming out. The one that really catches my eyes is the one with Serena Williams now. And I can't think of which ticker that is off the top of my head. But that is the one, where you have Barry Sternlicht. You also have Serena Williams, who's done some, great deals. I definitely am paying more and more attention to Barry Sternlicht in the SPAC world here.
All right, guys, let's keep going through here. Let's bring in one more here. It was the SPFR. Thank you, John Doe. Yeah, the Spitfire acquisition. There you go. And it's actually up on the day compared to JWS. So who knows? JWS was first, right? At least from my
JWS was first, and that one does have that deal announcement for Cano Health Medicare.
There you go, guys. It's a healthcare play. You've been seeing at least the healthcare plays in the SPACs kind of take a step back, but I think those are kind of more in what I call you take them out of the hype package and you put them more into that long-term package. The way that I'm playing my RPLA, I don't even stress it. I don't even look at it any day. Chris, it's that much of a position for me that I can just relax and not even look at it every day. And just in the long term, one day I expect to see it up. And that's how I'll take it. And I have a good risk to return, and I could see the company in a long-term bullish sentiment. The same way I think people are looking at that United Mortgage Company in the long run, or CLOV. In the long run, I think, CLOV, you're getting buying opportunities if you're thinking about this stock long term, and I think that's what you have to start looking at. If you think this company can rebound long term, this 1050 today or 1050 on this week, that's kind of the kind of look that I would definitely be looking for, because that gives you at least an ability to go ahead and measure risk down towards that $10, kind of maybe do a 70-cent risk, looking for a pop back towards 12, 13, 14s. I was even looking at this chart this morning and kind of interested, just to give you guys some insight. So it doesn't seem too crazy to kind of start trying to size in a little bit there in the CLOV and getting a small starter position, and then looking for it to bottom out somewhere near this 1050 area. All right, QS, man, still making moves. This is one that we literally we're breaking it down as it happened right before the earnings. So now it's gotten up there to $70. Once it gets through that 70, I'm gonna really look for some kind of lift off through that 80s and 90s, because if this one can get back above 100, oh man, there's gonna be a lot of people kind of wishing they had it at 50. So I think that's what a lot of people are looking at. They're looking at that $100 target. So you might run into some resistance when you get up there, but I don't see why this one can't get back up there. It definitely has a story. The chart was actually pretty decent for a couple months sideways. So I'll keep an eye on this one. That's QS, guys. All right, guys, let's keep going. Let's get into our middle segment. Let's get into the Hall of Fame. One of the things that we've been noticing is that there's certain management teams that have done really great, and then there's certain management teams that we haven't even gotten an answer from. So one thing we're going to start bringing up is which ones have the most under their management, and then also taking a look at how their success has gone with these SPACs. So Chris, I'll let you take over here and start leading. I'll try to help on the charts here. And if you guys go ahead, put a 1 if you agree with the management, put a 2 if you're like, nah, I'll look for another one. All right, guys, let's keep going through here. Let's go ahead, Chris. Unlock these specs.
Yeah, guys. So for our middle segment today, we want to look at what we call the SPAC Hall of Fame. So these are the people that have brought the most SPACs to the public market. Now, this list is kind of ever changing as we see, more and more SPACs come out. But this was the list of the top 8. And credit to SPAC Track. This was a tweet I saw, from that account that showed, these people. So credit to him. And, I want to dive into these. So up first, we have Alec Gores. So Alec Gores has done 12 SPACs. He has 7 active and 5 completed. So if we look at some of the active ones here, he has GHDI, which is merging with Matterport. We have GIIX, which is still in units. GMII still in units. We have GRSV, which is rumored to take the CAN unit of RDOG public. I do own shares of GRSV. Then we have a couple that have not gone public yet. GSEV and GTPA and GTPB. So those tickers, Mitch is going to get up on the screen here, but, a lot of SPACs out there from Alec Gores. This is a person that's brought a lot to the market. So he was behind UWMC, which was the largest SPAC deal to date. Now, I know what you're thinking, of course, that one dropped. So is that an indicator that, he does bad deals? I certainly don't think so. He also did Hostess Brands, which was TWK. known for Twinkies, of course. That deal was actually done in 2016. And then he also did Luminar Technologies, so LAZR. So if you look at Hostess Brands, you're seeing $15. If you look at Luminar, you're seeing $34. So again, this is a guy who knows how to get deals done. The mortgage one is more of a long-term play, in my opinion. And, this is a great management team. So you want to follow him. Those tickers that were on the screen are the ones that currently trade that Alec Gores is attached to. Then up next, we have Michael Klein. So Michael Klein, very well known right now, of course, for CCIV, which I own. It is rumored with Lucid Motor. So he also has several others currently trading. So this is a guy who's done 2 deals and has 9 active SPACs, with I would expect more and more coming. So there they are on the screen. So you have that Lucid rumor. You have CCX taking Skillsoft public. And then a couple I highlighted the last couple days, CVII and CCVI, both trading as units. So looking at my notes here, CVII raised $1.2 billion. CCVI raised $480 million. You look at those past 2, you have Multiplan, which didn't go over as well. It was the target of some short reports. It's trading at $7. Then you also have Clarivate, which is trading at $30. So you have kind of a mixed bag with the deals he's done. And, can you call Multiplan a bad deal? Time will tell. Obviously, people don't love seeing it under $10 that bought into the SPAC. Clarivate, on the other hand, though, trading at $30. And Lucid Motors, obviously, we've hit $60 now. If this deal gets done, I think favor is going to turn to Michael Klein, and people are going to look at some of these existing SPACs from him because, if you're a private company and you saw the attention that Lucid Motors got, maybe you reach out directly to Michael Klein and you say, hey, let's get this deal done because you want that hype, you want that attention, and whatever SPAC Michael Klein does next, I think it's going to get a lot of attention. And up next, you have Betsy Cohen. So Betsy Cohen, 8 SPACs, 5 active, 3 completed. She is a big name in the fintech space. So there's the tickers on the screen. So you have FTIV that deal with Perella Weinberg, FTOC, which I own shares of, merging with Payoneer. I think that is a great long-term play on digital payment solutions going forward. You have a couple in units. So SCLE, I talked about on the show yesterday as a new SPAC to watch, targeting that ESG and sustainability field. And then if you look at some of her past deals, so we have PAYA, which is trading around $12. And then we have Card Connect, which was actually acquired by First Data for $15. So to me, Betsy Cohen, strong name in the SPAC space. I'm keeping an eye out on some of those fintech names. And again, I own shares of FTOC and I love the Payoneer brand going forward. And I love, Betsy Cohen being attached to this name. And we have John Ledecke. He's the owner of the Islanders in the NHL. So here you have, a couple SPACs out there, NSTB with that rumor of Apex clearing, NSTU in units, NSTD in units, PICC, which I actually bought units recently. Then you have STIC taking BarkBox public. I own shares of STIC. I think that's a great deal. And then he was behind XL Fleet. So XL Fleet is one, Mitch has been talking about the past couple days. This was one that had really strong support going into that merger vote. It hit all the way up in the 30s. And now, we're kind of hovering around 18, looking to rebound back into the 20s. But I think it's a good play on, the electrification. These are some good deals that I'm seeing, from this team. So I do like this one. Another popular team is Jeff Sagansky and Harry Sloan. So they've done 7 SPACs together. They have 1 active and not even trading yet, and then 6 completed deals. So this firm actually did SPACs years ago before they were, the high growth area for investors that we've seen. So Sagansky is attached to FCIC, which is Share Care, which I own shares in. But the key here is they're bringing Soaring Eagle public, SRNG. This is going to be $1 billion SPAC when it prices. And I think it's going to see strong interest, right? Because this is the team that did DraftKings and Skills. So DraftKings shares over $60. Skills shares over $30. Those shares both also belong to Kathy Wood's ARK ETFs. So to me, this is a strong team. I think that new SPAC sees huge interest from investors. And we have Mark Ein. So he has 7 SPACs. He's done 4 deals. He has 3 out there. So the one I'm seeing is CAP. He has a couple more that are coming with no tickers attached yet. So this is a name to watch because he doesn't get as much attention. I haven't seen his name out there as much. So CAP is one that I'm going to be keeping on my watch list. It's trading at $10.50. I love that price point. And this is the guy who did Sission, which got a $10 buyout. Obviously, $10, not a huge price there, compared to the $10 SPAC, pricing level. So keep an eye out on CAP. This is the guy who deals done. And then we turn to Chamath Palihapitiya, and obviously, this number only includes SPACs that he has done under his own brand. So it lists 6 SPACs. So we, of course, know that he's done 6 SPACs and also been the part of 6 PIPE deals. So, here you have, up on screen, IPOD, which I own shares of, IPOE merging with SoFi, IPOF, $1 billion plus SPAC. And then he's got more coming, right? I just talked about how he filed the names for 7 more SPACs. This is the guy who did Virgin Galactic. I also own shares of that, Open Door, and Clover Health. So, people talk about Clover Health, right? And how, it's trading down, but you look at Chamath, I have an article out actually that from a tweet that he shared showing, how high his deals have gone. His 12 SPAC deals and pipes have an average return of 47% in 2021 and an average lifetime gain of 137%. Obviously, he's one of the biggest names out there in the SPAC world. So definitely keep an eye on Chamath. I think we get a deal announcement from IPOD and or IPOF before we see those 7 new SPACs, get filed or priced. So keep an eye out on these ones. And then last in our Hall of Fame here, we have Howard Lutnik. So Howard Lutnik, 6 SPACs as well. So he has, a couple that have announced deals. So up on screen here, we have CFAC taking AI, a LiDAR company, public. CFII taking that smart window company View public. And then we have a couple more, CFIV trading as commons and CFV and CFVI trading as units now. And then he did a deal for GCMG, which if I pull up is trading at $13. Another good name here. He's got some experience, and here we have some pending deals and some new announced SPACs trading as units. So definitely worth keeping, an eye out for this Lutnik team. And then, we have an honorable mention too, which we can get to probably on another show. And also, we're going to see this list change, right? So these are the 8 teams that have done the most SPACs currently. Again, credit to SPAC Track for that tweet that I saw. So, what do you think, Mitch? What teams or what person, stand out here kind of based on some of those deals that they've done and the pricing on those charts?
Well, one thing I'd mention really quickly is that, you got to follow these and then also start seeing like, hey, so how much money is the following one actually have? And so one thing I've been noticing is that, like, even in the one that I'm looking at, SPNV, the actual money in each capitalization is actually going down with each kind of announcement. And so that's something to note, guys. So that shows to me that at least high price companies, there's not too many left. And so we got to keep that in mind. Okay. So then watch these and see what they're really going to go after, and are they staying in the same industry, because that could also help them too, because if the board is going to be kind of in the same industry, they kind of have the same data to go off, the same targets to go off of, and they already kind of did the research. But if you see them getting into different areas, that's when I would start paying attention to specifics on that board, not just the leader, but also the other people mentioned in the board. It's not just the leader, guys. And that's one thing you definitely want to pay attention to. These guys are really busy. This is not the only thing they're doing. So that's one thing I'd mention. So look at the full board and not just the leader. And that's what I did for SPNV, and that's why I thought it was such a good stock for me, because it at least matched all the things that I was looking for, not just a leader in the company, but also the rest of the board kind of matching at the same levels, and being at least diverse, where they're both coming in, majority of them coming in with strengths, and not just in the same industry. So what do you
Yeah,
think about that?
definitely. And another thing, you talk about the money raised to watch. Another trend that I'm looking at is, these people who have done past deals, and not to say they're greedy, but do they change the warrant structure on their next SPACs, right? So, I look at some of these where they used to offer, a half a warrant, a third of a warrant, and now we're getting, hey, we did good deals. We're going to now only offer an eighth of a warrant, and kind of take away, that extra incentive that people get for buying the units. And the one that stood out for me was Churchill Capital. So here you have CCIV, huge interest. That was, a fifth of a warrant on that one. And Klein just priced these next two SPACs. And you know what he offered? It was a fifth of a warrant again. So I fully expected, that warrant amount to change. But here you have him, offering the same terms on his next two. So, to me, I like seeing that from the management teams too. They're just because SPACs are trading at premiums, I think there should still be, those warrants offered, people getting a premium for buying in, on the offering and when these are trading as units. So definitely something, I'm keeping an eye out on there. And, you talk about Supernova, they could quickly find themselves in the Hall of Fame, right? So that first deal hasn't been announced. They've already announced two more. Great management team. The founder, of Hotwire, the CEO of Zillow. Strong backing. The other team that stands out for me that's not in the Hall of Fame yet is the RTP SPAC. So Mark Pincus from Zynga, Reid Hoffman from LinkedIn. They have two SPACs trading. They have a third one coming. I think they keep doing these too. And we talk about Chamath wanting to do IPO A to IPO Z. That's 26 SPACs. What other management teams want to keep, doing a large number? And the one we're going to find out tomorrow, Mitch, is DMY Technology, right? So they've done two SPACs that have deals. So Rush Street Interactive and Genius Sports. They have a third SPAC trading, DMYI, and then they just filed for a fourth SPAC. So we're going to ask the man himself, Niccolo De Masi, from DMY Technology at our boot camp tomorrow, which I'll drop that link in the chat. So guys, SPAC boot camp tomorrow. So Niccolo De Masi, we're going to ask him, hey, how many SPACs are you going to bring to the market? Because I want to know, right? Is this a trend? Do we keep seeing these management teams, doing more and more SPACs, and I would love to get an answer out of him. Maybe we can find Niccolo De Masi in the SPAC Hall of Fame in the future. What do you think, Mitch?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, you're gonna start noticing that there's certain people that do good, and there's certain people that are all over the place. And to me, when you're seeing all these sports kind of SPACs all be kind of in the similar, whether it be kind of one more in the kind of technology, then one more in the gambling, and then I think the guy knows what he's doing. That's what I would just say. At the end of the day, he's sticking to what he knows. And that right there, it gives me a signal right there. That's as much as I need, guys. I want people that know their industry and know what they're getting into, so that at least It's not just a decision that they made with the pressure of trying to acquire, but something that they already had the knowledge of prior to, and then now are just doing a little bit more deep digging. All right, guys, let's go ahead and let's get into some of the watch lists. I know a lot of people are talking about, guess what? CCIV, guys. A lot of people are talking about it, and I'm going to bring it up here. One thing I mentioned, guys, is that, even if I was the one to bring this one up, I even think it's getting towards a point where it just might be too extended, guys. But the truth is, it's all about where you got your entry. Let's say you got your entry down at like $12. Well, there's no reason really to sell. I mean, I kind of understand that perspective on that. Hey, you're in such a big green position that you're looking for a little bit more. That's okay. But one thing I always ask myself, guys, and this is something that I think every investor needs to ask themselves when they get to a position where it's past their reward and super extended past that reward. You need to ask yourself, guys, what in the best case scenario, if this stock keeps going in my direction, how much more could this stock keep going? And how much more that percentage, and is it worth it to me to give up some of my gains for that potential gain? And so that's how I'd look at this one. I know a lot of people are talking and mentioning potentials of this one ripping through 100 on the announcement. And yeah, that could happen. But what could also happen is a pullback down towards 28, 24 if, per se, they don't get it. What's to say that they have it already, guys? And so you always got to keep your risks in mind. And if you're not keeping your risk in mind and you're starting to get in here at the top, well, I can tell you right now, you're not playing the game the right way, guys, because the game should be played to risk manage. And if you're not risk managing, then that's how you go ahead and you burn through accounts. Like literally burn them. Like you might as well just look to your buddy to your left and be like, here, have my money, because I'm just going to give it away. And so definitely, guys, just be careful out there. I'm not telling you that you can't get in this one, but I'm definitely telling you that you got to be careful with certain stocks like this, especially when it's making such a big move based off of a rumor. And that's just simple as that, guys. When you're seeing such a stock make a big move on that rumor, what's to say that the rumor doesn't change? What's to say that it's not already priced in? And
yeah,
the market does
that's
this
a
all the
key
time.
point. I see that $100 price target thrown out there. I see the comparisons to Tesla. The thing again, guys, take a step back. Remember, it's about market cap. It's about valuation. Share price of X company is not the same as share price of Y company. Two companies trading at $100 is not the same. I cannot stress that enough. So Lucid Motors, they're going to do this deal, at $12 to $15 billion based on the share price it currently has. It already values the company between $60 and $80 billion. The company is not valued at $12 billion now. There is already a premium built in. Remember that, guys. $100 price target right now means nothing without knowing the valuation of the deal in place. I cannot stress that enough. If everyone wants to chase, you can chase, but I'm just cautioning you. And again, I own shares of CCIV. I bought in around $12 and $13 in two separate accounts. I told you that day one when we talked about that deal, the day after it was rumored, and you could still buy in, in the teens, I believe. I said I was going to hold it. Mitch brought this one on our SPACs under 11 show again. And, the key for me, which could be a cautionary tale, was he said, hey, they're rumored to be taking DirecTV public. People don't like that. What if they don't get DirecTV? What if they end up with someone else? Great call by Mitch there, because look, they might get someone else. But on the flip side, guys, what happens if they don't get Lucid Motors? What happens if they get someone else? How long does this deal get dragged out? I sold part of my position. I'm keeping the rest because, again, my risk is very low. Don't be afraid. Take some profits off the table. If that means you don't have diamond hands, so be it. But, guys, keep track of your own risk reward here. I can't stress that enough.
Yeah, and I mean, for people like Thomas and John mentioned getting it at $10, I really can't blame you. I mean, I would hang out tight, and then that's kind of the strategy that I had in the first place, right, guys? That's why we had the $10 to $11 show, was to hold and be patient, because being patient gets reward. And that's just like normal. That's just morals, guys. Like, be patient, and if you're in it, you could be in it to win it, and I don't mind that perspective if you're down towards a level where you can measure your risk. And then always set the plan. This is what I say: just set the plan. Like okay, right now it's at 60. Hey, if it gets to 100, I'm gonna ring that register, celebrate a freaking 10 bagger, and celebrate the win. But have a plan. The planned attack is always going to be better, guys. I can tell you, because when you have a planned attack, you'll be able to measure your risk. You'll be able to measure your probability. The moment that you start stepping outside of your strategy, no longer can you calculate probability. And if I can't calculate probability, there's something I'm doing wrong. All right, guys, let's keep going. Let's get into watch list right quick. We got about 7 minutes left, so we're going to really quickly run through these. Chris, let's go ahead and just, on our opinion, and I want to state it again because we want to run through these really quickly, guys. It's just on our opinion. We're going to say bull or bear. Okay, and you guys can help us out also and just say it in the chat. It's just our opinion. Once again, I don't want you guys going and just buying off of us calling bull or bear, because there's a lot of technicals that go into this and timing. So let's just roll through this in the chat. Go ahead, guys, load it up. Let's get some tickers in there and let's roll through this. All right, guys, I'm seeing IGAC.
I would say bull.
Bull. Hanging out. Let's keep rolling. RBAC. That you like this one, that red ball life, man. What's up with the red ball?
I'm a bull. I think they get a deal done soon.
Yeah, I like the 1050s. If you can get near the 1050s on this one, I have a little rule that I like under 1050s. But man, if I could get it, I'll take it. Let's keep rolling through here. Seeing CCX, that Churchill Capital, down towards 1016s now. When we opened up, this one was around kind of this 970, 980s. We're back towards 1015. I'm a bull, but I'm definitely going to try to get as close towards that 10. What do you say, Chris?
Yeah, I would say bull for me as well.
Yeah, this would be even one that I'd look to see if it could get towards that, the NAV, that when it's going to get towards that underneath that $10, when I could get it down there, if I can get, like, let's say 985s, that's a really nice spot for me, at least from my data. All right, guys, let's keep rolling through here. Seeing BFT being mentioned, so we'll run through that one right quick. BFT, this is one that I think we'll get some different opinions. What's up, Chris? Bull or bear?
Yeah, I'm torn on this one. But if I had to pick, I would say bull. I still like the long-term story.
I like long-term story, but I don't like the chart, so I'm going to say bear. All right, let's keep rolling through here, guys. I'm seeing HOL being mentioned here. Holicity. What's up, Chris? Bull or bear?
Yeah, Holicity, I'm a long-term bull, but I would say I'm a bear here. I want to see this one dip a little bit.
I have to agree 100%. Everything you just said. All right, let's keep rolling through here, guys. T8CB. That Tuscan. What's up with this one, Chris?
Yeah, I would say I'm a bear here. There's a lot of battery players out there. I want to get some more color on the difference between the companies. So bear right now, possible bull long term.
Yeah, definitely. For the industry, I'm a bull. But for certain stocks, you got to be careful here. If you're not getting them at a discount, I don't like them. All right, let's keep rolling through here. I think Daniel's been talking about this one multiple times. Let's just take a look at this one. I don't even like to pull this one up anymore, to be honest, guys. PSTH. So Bill Ackman, if you're out there and you want to talk about your SPAC, come on SPAC's attack, guys. Because at the end of the day, guys, this one's gotten boring to me. Yo, Bill, where you at, man? Wake us up a little bit. Are you gonna get Stripe or not, man? And I think that's really the definition for me in this one. If it's Stripe, I'm gonna be a bull. If it's not Stripe, I'm gonna be a bear until I find out, at least.
Yeah, I agree completely. I'm a bear here because I think it's pretty much Stripe or bust. There's too much of a premium built in on this one. I'd be selling anytime this hits 30 if I own shares, just to take some gains off the table.
All right, seeing GIK mentioned, this is also one that falls into that kind of similar category. What do you think of this one, Chris?
Yeah, GIK, I'm a bull. This is Lightning E-Motors. I own shares, so that would definitely make me a bull. And we had the CEO on electrification. I'm a bull all the way.
Yeah, I love that 1350 on this chart. So that's the number that I would look for an entry, at least in my eyes. But long-term bull in this one too. All right, let's keep going through this one. This one's an interesting one. I would like to hear your opinion on this one, Chris. So TTCF, Tattoo Chef.
Yeah, I'm a bull. I like this one. This was one we talked about on our top SPACs for 2021. I think I called it an honorable mention. I'm a bull here still.
All right, I'm gonna go against you on this one. I'm a bear in this one. The reason why, the pandemic. I think the pandemic is gonna cause for certain incomes to change, for certain decision and house decisions to change. So there was this time when I think we were really starting to move towards like healthy foods and healthy options and alternatives. Now I think it's gonna come back to the way it was. Certain times that you can look at, maybe 2009 to 2011, where I think you're gonna start seeing discounts being the focus and saving money. So if saving money is going to be the play, I think that Tattoo Chef, I'm a bear. All right, guys, let's keep rolling through here. Seeing here mentioned UWMC. A lot of people talk about this one. A lot of people got in this one at the merger, and this is why we state, guys. Be careful after mergers, guys. I can't say it enough, guys. This is a pattern. And if you're missing this pattern and you're not seeing it, then you're not doing your due diligence. So I can just call you out on that right quick. Look at this stock now, guys. It's down to $8.38. This scares the living crap out of me. And I can tell you that, guys, that because if I was in this one and this was my RPLA and it was down towards 8.36, I'd have to get rid of it. I'd have to get rid of it. I'd just be straight up honest, guys. I'd have to get rid of it. I'd be in such a world of pain, and I'd have to get rid of it there. So I'm keeping an eye on this one, and I can tell you right now, bear, really quickly.
Yeah, I'm a bear. I don't know if it goes lower, so I'm pretty mixed, but I would say a bear at this point.
Yeah, I see some people mention that they lost a significant amount of money in that stock. So definitely be careful with that one, guys. If you got caught at the merger, learn the patterns and don't just copy off of people, because I've been seeing so many people just mention these SPACs and then they're like, yeah, just buy it. They don't even tell you why. They don't explain you what's in the company and what can happen. So those are the people that I don't even listen to. I just laugh at them and let them keep talking about the SPACs, because at the end of the day, they don't know. Just like one thing I've been noticing, Chris, and maybe you can mention it. I've been noticing there's way too many SPACs account that don't show their face, and to me, that's always a red flag. If they're not willing to show their face, then hey, Chris and I show our face every single day, because what we say we believe in, and we'll be accountable for that. So one thing I'd mention is that watch out for those different accounts, because you don't want to get caught trapped in different SPACs. And I've been seeing people push CCIV like, oh, I'm up this amount, so you should get in it too. Be careful, guys. And I definitely want to save you guys in getting caught in that hype. So let's go ahead and we'll wrap up here. All right, guys. So I know that the Zinger Nation's coming on next. Before we bring them on, want to really quickly talk about the boot camp tomorrow. Do not miss it, guys. If you guys want to stay with the SPACs team, Why not come on Saturday, guys, when we don't have to worry about what stock's moving? We can just worry about the education, just worry about building our skills. So, Chris, let them know where could they see that?
Yeah, so I just dropped the link in the chat, guys. Boot camp tomorrow, SPACs and options on a Saturday. You know, feedback we've gotten at the events team is you want SPACs, you want options, you want an event on a non-trading day. 1, 2, 3. That's all 3 things that everyone requested. Let's show up tomorrow. Let's do this event big. Again, we got Julian Klimachko from Accelerate Funds coming to talk about SPACs. We got Nicolo Damasi from DMY Technology to talk about SPACs. We got other great traders sharing option strategies. You know, so great day tomorrow.